Chinese cars are already shaking the global market, cheaper than ever, packed with tech like Tesla. But here's the twist. There's one model they will never bring to the US. Stay tuned, and by the end, you'll find out why. One of the main reasons people look at Chinese cars is the price and the value you get for that money. Around $25,000 in the US or Europe usually means a basic compact car. Cloth seats, manual windows, simple audio, and few extras. But Chinese brands tell a different story. For the same price, you get a fully loaded SUV or sedan packed with features that many Western cars only offer in higher trims or more expensive models. Heated leather seats, panoramic sunroofs, large touchscreens, adaptive cruise control, 360-degree cameras, wireless charging, and smart voice assistants often come standard. Brands like BYD, NIO, Geely, and XPeng are bringing luxury-level technology to mid-range models, shaking up the industry. For example, BYD Seal costs less than a base Toyota Camry, but offers a premium interior that rivals Tesla's. XPeng P7 has autonomous driving features at prices far below Western competitors. This mix of aggressive pricing and rich features is changing buyer expectations. For those wanting cutting-edge tech without overspending, Chinese cars are serious contenders. But price and features don't tell the whole story. How these technologies perform daily is crucial. And that's the next big point, the technology inside these vehicles. Let's explore. Chinese automakers aren't just copying anymore. In some areas, they're leading. Brands like XPeng, NIO, and BYD have invested massively in innovation, and the results are real. Their cars come with huge touchscreens, responsive UIs, and voice assistants that actually work. Some even recognize hand gestures or eye movement. Many models support frequent over-the-air updates, not just bug fixes, but new features, better range, improved performance. NIO's in-car AI learns your habits, adapts over time, and becomes more personal every day. XPeng's autopilot can handle urban traffic, change lanes, and follow navigation without driver input, and it's already available. Some Chinese EVs now include built-in LiDAR, advanced sensors usually seen in autonomous cars, standard on models like the XPeng G6. And all this comes in vehicles priced well below the average Tesla. Chinese brands are turning cars into smart devices, fast, intelligent, connected, and always evolving. Not everything is perfect. Some systems can feel clunky or too much, but make no mistake, innovation is no longer just a Western game. And next, let's look at where China is truly accelerating. It wasn't long ago that Chinese cars looked generic. You'd glance at one and think, is that a copy of a BMW or a weird Honda knockoff? Not anymore. In 2025, China isn't just catching up in automotive design, it's redefining it. Many brands now collaborate with top designers from Europe and California. The result? Cars that turn heads. Zeekr models look like concept cars, minimalist, bold, futuristic. NIO interiors are cleaner and calmer than most German luxury brands, with soft lighting, floating screens, and materials that feel premium, not plastic. Even affordable models like the BYD Dolphin or Chang'an Uni-V come with sharp styling, cool lighting signatures, and cohesive interiors that feel intentional, not like a parts bin project. And here's the twist. It's not just about looks. Chinese brands are learning what feels good. Door sounds, haptic buttons, curved dashboards, ambient lighting that actually changes your mood. They've studied Western car culture and started building for emotion, not just specs. These are cars made to impress your senses. And they do. For the first time, many Western buyers walk into a Chinese EV showroom and say, wait, this is nice. But once you look past the surface, how do these cars hold up? What about service, resale, long-term ownership? Well, the answers aren't always pretty. Let's dig into the downsides, starting with what happens after the excitement fades. So, you've bought a Chinese car, it looks great, it drives fine. But 6 months later, reality sets in. Let's start with the resale market, or rather, the lack of one. In most Western countries, Chinese cars still have weak resale value. Why? Low brand recognition. People don't trust what they don't know, especially when it comes to cars. You might save money up front, but lose more when it's time to sell. Then there's the service issue. Outside of China, dealer networks are still growing. In the US and Europe, service centers are few and far between, and parts delays are common. In some cases, even basic repairs require waiting weeks. And unlike legacy brands, Chinese automakers don't have decades of mechanics trained on their systems. Now, let's talk software, the thing that makes these cars feel smart. Here's the catch. Not every system is polished. Glitches in voice control, laggy screens, and language localization issues still happen, especially in export models. And over-the-air updates? Some are amazing. Others break more than they fix. You're essentially beta testing in real time. These cars are packed with tech, but the question is, who's going to fix it when something goes wrong? For early adopters, this can feel like the Wild West. Exciting, but unpredictable. And we haven't even touched on perception, trust, and brand identity. That's where things get even more personal. A car is never just metal and wheels. It's emotion. It's identity. And that's where many Chinese cars hit a wall. wall: image and trust. Even with high-end tech and modern looks, many buyers still hesitate. In the West, people grow up associating certain brands with legacy, reliability, pride. Ford, Mercedes, Toyota, they're more than cars, they're family names. Chinese brands, they're new, often unknown, and sometimes misunderstood. The moment you say, "I'm buying a BYD," you'll hear, "A what?" And fair or not, people judge. Some assume Chinese cars are cheap copies. Others worry about ethics, data privacy, even political ties. There's a level of psychological resistance that no spec sheet can overcome. Then there's branding itself. Some companies change names for export markets, use confusing logos, or avoid directly referencing China at all, which only adds to the uncertainty. The cars might be good, but people ask, will the brand be here in 5 years? Buying a car is a long-term decision. People want stability, heritage, backup. And in this area, Chinese automakers are still earning their place. Perception can change, but it takes time and consistency. Still, what if you don't care about what others think? What if you're focused on value, function, and innovation? Then the story becomes personal. So let's break it down from experience. So here's the honest truth. No sponsorships, no bias. Would I personally buy a Chinese car today? The answer is, it depends. If I lived in a country where service centers are growing, where the brand has a local presence and some track record, I'd seriously consider it. Especially if I wanted an EV, a tech-forward experience, or simply the most value for my money. But if I lived in a small town, far from urban centers, with no nearby dealer, no mechanics who understand the system, and limited parts, I'd be cautious. Not because the car is bad, but because support matters. Chinese cars today are exciting, bold, and rapidly improving. But they're still finding their place in Western markets, and that means there's risk. Not huge, but real. These cars are perfect for early adopters, people who enjoy being first, who can live with small glitches and unusual brands. But for someone who just wants peace of mind, simplicity, and long-term clarity, a legacy brand might still feel safer. At the end of the day, it's not about where the car is from. It's about what you value. And that's the key question. Are you buying with your head or with your gut? Either way, it's your call. But before you decide, let's wrap it all up with one clear summary. Chinese cars in 2025 are no longer just cheap alternatives. They offer bold design, rich tech, and excellent value, often better than what legacy brands deliver at twice the price. But there's a trade-off. With low resale, uncertain service support, and trust still being earned, owning one isn't always straightforward. It's a bit like buying a phone from a new brand. Exciting, powerful, full of promise, but not without a few unknowns. So the real question isn't, are Chinese cars good or bad? It's, are they right for you right now? And the only way to answer that is by knowing your priorities. If you love value, innovation, and standing out, go test drive one. Seriously. If you prefer long-term stability and brand legacy, wait a bit longer. China's not going anywhere. One thing's certain, the automotive world is changing fast, and China is no longer just following. It's leading in ways no one expected 10 years ago. Whether you choose a Chinese car or not, the future it's shaping will affect everyone. So stay informed, stay curious, and if you learned something new today, consider subscribing. Your next car choice might just surprise you.